You can show the. Oh, yeah. Okay, so last part of seven riches, seven noble riches, inner qualities. The last part is wisdom. So again, I'm not going to read whole ones. They're talking about the how important to have wisdom, and then Uh, maybe we're on the same page, the wisdom meaning, or maybe not. So, regarding the Buddhism text, the wisdom is that mind which can determine right and wrong, or everything's like a uh, good and bad. That's we call wisdom. Um, And then the wisdom, which is knowing for example, right and wrong in our daily life. Um, but sometimes we know wrong. That's not called wisdom. Um, so we think we knows, but it's being wrong, right? Yeah, it's not called wisdom. So that's the difference between wisdom and the wisdom, which is knows, but knowing what was it? Exactly what reality is. That's the wisdom meaning. And then other than it's not really called wisdom. It could be the intelligence and wisdom is different. Let's say um, the today's many scientists that created atom bomb or guns and so on and so on. We might say it's intelligence, not the wisdom. So wisdom is which more bringing benefit, which knows that reality and bringing benefit to everyone's. That's the wisdom, and sometimes very smart people are smart intelligence, and they always just use their intelligence as the wrong directions or misleading it. So it's not wisdom. It's just seeing intelligence and the smart. Therefore, we need a wisdom. Plus, if you have intelligence, that's great, right? So, therefore, instead of reading this, the benefit of wisdom, the last part actually says here. Let me read it. Admit the process. Okay. It's admit all the preceding 22 dialogues, which is like that book of Kadamba from beginning to here, end of the even one more chapter there up to 23rd. So it's here up to here is the 22 dialogues. There nothing not contained in this essential point, which is wisdom. Everything's included there, wisdom. This is the very essence way to describe, and then you knows that whatever we knows from beginning to end here is all the wisdom, and wisdom is most important. Okay, and then sometime we are analyzing between faith and wisdom, which is both are important, right? The faith and wisdom both are important, but which is first? Faith is first, or wisdom is first? That's we analyzing sometime. And most of our the teachers concluding and saying that faith is important. We think these both are important, but faith is first, then wisdom's worked. Yeah, if you do not have the perfectly faith, uh, I don't know. I should use the faith or not. Maybe good morning. Uh, Admirations. The faith word could be the uh, misconception in my habit, because the faith used by many different religions. Uh, or maybe I can say faith with the wisdom, not the blind faith. That I can use it. So yeah, the faith with the wisdom is the first priority, then the wisdom itself, right? So and then again, what is different here? The faith with the wisdom. I mean, like whatever your belief, that beliefs comes by wisdom, or it's more like a deciding with the wisdom, something like that. Yeah. So, yeah, therefore, that's also need to be think. The wisdom is first or faith is first, right? In um, in study, when we study, yes, we need a wisdom. But when we practice, faith is definitely first. If you have a lack of faith, then you will never do practice, right? But you knows, but you never engage it those practice because lack of faith. So therefore, move forwarding or changing yourself is faith is important. But when we study that collecting informations or try to knowing every information, that's wisdom is important at the moment, right? So, but within these two, the faith is more values. Faith is the more main key for changing ourselves, not the wisdom, right? But it associated with the wisdom. That's kind of I can say the difference between this. So why, therefore, why is faith is important? Because I'm learning because I need to change. And then learning part that as wisdom, you know a lot of information. But if you having lack of faith, then you never engage any practice, then you will not change, right? So it's the kind of things, yeah. So regarding the knowing the wisdom, today I prefer like a two different topic like to analyze it. The first we can think why we study it, why we educate it. That's we can think why we what do you think why we educate it from kindergarten to college, right? What do you think?
We could survive.
Uh-huh.
So we could survive in our
The
society.
most of the time, the surviving life, yeah. That we all the educating for surviving life, but it's not the complete one, right? It's incomplete. So the surviving life is yes, need a financial and need a calm, peace mind both, right? So, but the most of educating is surviving life for like for financial collecting the money, these things that we do, right? And then on which is important things is missing actually. That's His Holiness Dalai Lama is always saying that we need a new curriculum in the world, any college and school. So what we study, what we educating them is um, like a not the perfect complete one in surviving life, right? So the even like if we look back to our responsibility, last time our topic was like a good morning, shameful, and then lack of concerning other or concerning other. That's kind of topic we talked it. The main topic is saying we do have a lot of responsibility. If you take that responsibility, then that's that you have a shameful and concerning other. If you do not take responsibility, then you say shameless. That's how we calculate it. So therefore, look at the responsibility. We have a responsibility in our home. We have a responsibility for this earth. We have a responsibility for the community and so on, right? But what we educating right now, it's not really bringing those things, right? Um, um, like how to take responsibility in the community, or maybe some part, yes, it's still incomplete because, and then how to take responsibility in even the environment, we talk a lot, right? But are we taking exactly the responsibility for make better environment or not? That's also a thing, right? If not, then that education system what we have right now is not the complete one. We need to add it on it. So therefore, again, we can think why we educating it, right? Okay, we are analyzing on why we educating it. Yeah.
But don't you think that your actual family, your parents, your immediate community has a role in teaching? I mean, that's where that education should take place. It's not going to always take place in a classroom. We as families can't give
Yeah.
up all the responsibility of teaching our young ones to teachers and things like that.
Yeah.
I think we're not as parents and aunts and uncles and grandparents, we're not fulfilling our duty to go ahead and do some of these things, such as care for the world and care for each other.
Yeah, so we learned something from that. That's true. But still, it's not the complete one because even we taking responsibility, sometimes taking responsibility 25%, 50%, or sometimes even try to take responsibility 100%, but it's not affected because lack of wisdom again. Like we are generally we carrying each other with attachment. We're carrying each other with the ignorance, right? We're carrying each other with a lot of like negative emotions. So therefore, it's becoming automatically it's becoming like incomplete carrying each other, right? So therefore, how we can make it complete one. So then again, go back. So far, we found that why we educating is like saying surviving life. But that surviving life is not included there how you to build up the altruism mind, right? How you be, how to make the next generations better, you know? And these are the not really included in our today's systems, education. Do you think or not? Right? It's not really included there how make our next generations better, right? So right say for this lifetime for on my benefit I fight light for lot of fight for others for my own benefit same time created more enemies right to my family so and then I'm not really concerning my next generations whatever they do right well right now as my responsibility, I'm fighting for them. As my responsibility, the lot of do negative actions, right? And then it's affected one, affected two, and then it's turning more enemies. And then who is really suffering is like our next generations are, right? So next, we're not concerning for that. That even we're not concerning our children is also next generations. So how can make them a more happy and better life, right? It's as we're talking about the dependent origination or interdependence. The happy life is dependent in everything, right? If you really want to take care your children have a more happy, then you should take care of the environment too, right? So and then you should take care of the world and all these systems we should take care of it as in order to taking care our own children for next generations. But that lack of having this education system in our today's curriculums, right? And as well as altruism. Of course, they never talk about the altruism, right? So you do it, everything's you, whatever benefit you do it, be a product, so on, so on. That's kind of things. So I have here we are in exile in India, and then also the Indian government allow us to open our own school and our own like administrator kind of a government. So all this they give us permission to do that. So therefore, we have a separately the school and only the Tibetan peoples, right? So yeah, also I can mention that because of His Holiness Dalai Lamas how he lead us, how he take care of us. That also is good to know, right? Um, when he came to a little bit off topic, okay, I'm just they remind me to how he's always established this system in India in our exile community. So after he came to 1959, he came to India, and then at the time the India president was Nehru, the president, and then he lot of supported us and then also he said okay now all your the children need to be educated so I can send many different colleges to here and there then his son is was requested I don't want to do that because as a what called preserving our culture I need to put all together so can we start our separate school and for our only children, only Tibetan community. So Nehru allows that. That's a big help actually to instant. If we like at the scatter it at the very beginning, like I say, some children go that college, some children go that college. We might lose all this our Tibetan languages, right? Definitely might lose the Tibetan language. Even we having together right now, still we are losing it. But right now, it's 62 or 63 years we are in exile. So it looks like it's still all the Tibetan language and both reading, writing, everything's as fresh as right now there because of his. At the time, he is 21 or 22 years, and so very smart, right? That's how he uh, established this system in our community. And now I'm coming on our own the main topic. So when we like educated right to children to is opening the separate school for them, and they have some kind of the reason why we educating all those like the book it has a written down in the beginning this four reason, right? So they're written down in the each book's the part of the beginning, right? So the reason is the first one say freedom, and then second altruism, and third one is sustainability, of course, sustainability, and then the fourth one is innovations. All right, the creating or creative. So the part of the freedom, it says like a student should awaken their discriminating wisdom, develop the ability to uh, discern right from wrong independently. So your own way can. Why we educated? You should become like that. Every right and wrong that you should determine it. So you should have an ability to determine that instead of every single part asking it here and there, or maybe do goes in the wrong things, right? And say and use the wisdom to make free and responsibility to choice in thoughts and actions, like a freedom of thoughts and actions. The freedom of thoughts is talking here to educating to become become an ability to choose exactly right and wrong. So that's not depend on other. You can determine that. So that's the freedom of thought, and based on that, whatever actions comes, right? It's called the freedom thoughts and freedom actions that not depend on anything. The way it began, yes, we are depending on others. So we are depending on teacher, we are depending on class, we are depending on a book, right? But after you educated, then you should become like that. You should see the all the right and wrong, and then yourself to determine. That is the very important in our daily life, right? Because everyone's teacher is always not with us, book is always not with us, right? So our wisdom is always with us. If you become an ability to having those kind of quality to judge or you can decide it or determine right and wrong, then that's the big help in our daily life, right? That's the one reason to educating to becoming the freedom of thoughts and actions, right? And then secondly, say freedom of meet their own needs. So they should have the freedom of their own needs through their own effort, without depending excessively on others and exploiting them, right? So again, as we are social being, we are. It's no way that not depend on other, but still, surviving life. Like a children's depend on parents. That's one way to depend, right? And then when we grow up, we are depend on a store and depend on like a car, depend on a house. That's different depending, right? So when we grow up more, the do by yourself, right? So more depending house, but you have to build a house, right? Depending car, you have to buy a car. So children is depending the parents 100%, right? They cannot do anything. So but after educated, don't be a dependent as like a children. So you more independently to survive by yourself. You have enough knowledge to how to collect money, or how to be surviving, or do we really need $1 million for surviving? All this like goes with the wisdom to understanding, right? Some people feel that I have to be really, really riches. Recently a few people called to me, you buy the Powerball, it's a billion or something. What says it's billion? Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
So, no, I'm not interested. Oh, yeah, last night someone called. It's releasing 11 o'clock. No, I'm not interested. So, that's kind of things, Um, what is satisfaction is more riches or having a lot of money is riches. This we have to think again, right? So if you have a lot of money, you don't know how to use it, or you are still not happy, not really riches then. Satisfaction is better because it at least makes you calm, not a lot of expectations or excitement, right? So therefore, it's I'm talking here the freedom we need to what is necessary to need is in our daily life, right? So it's a what's called comparable or competition thoughts as being us. Oh, I need a big house because my neighbor has it, my friend has it. We have same class when we grow up. Now they have a big house. I should have a big house. It's you buying suffering then. So not really buying the house, right? So satisfaction, necessary. It says necessary, right? Good morning. So need the necessary things that you only collected, right? But beyond that, you have to think, really need it or not need it, or you should collect it or not collect it. So that's the one, the second part of the talking about the freedoms that you it says your own effort need is through your own effort not depend on other, but adding here the your own effort means like how much you have to collect it for necessary things, right? So luxury or just being simple, that's choice, right? So and then the most of us thinking luxury is it's more what brings a happiness in our life. But reality is not really, right? Reality is the being simple satisfactions more bringing life. Yeah, Naisha, we are discussion on why we're educating. So, okay, then third here is that furthermore, they should have the freedom of protect themselves. The freedom of protect themselves, what they're saying here, their society, through themselves and their society, through non-violence means a principle known as a non-violence. So with the non-violence to how to protect yourself and other, that's you need to be more educated, that kind of things. After you learn any knowledge, it has to be being this kind of educations to protect yourself and other with non-violence. Then the education is perfect. Then the knowledge is perfect, right? So and then other things not really good in our life. The violence, the not really good in our life. So this is the three parts of talking about the freedom. So the first one is we're educating to have a freedom for thought and actions. We're educating to have a freedom for surviving their own life, and then we're educating them freedom for to protect themselves and others with nonviolence. So you see then what curriculum in our book, if this is the one reason, right? The second reason is talking about altruism, the ability for put others before oneself, and when necessary to sacrifice for the benefit of others. Looks like it's too strong, but let's say, put other before oneself. That I think concerning other is the same, right? Concerning other is the same. So if we put other as a first, then your all reaction or actions are goals may be better, right? Okay. Something comes in my mind to example. I don't know who said it. Okay. Anyhow, just concerning other, um, then let's say, or concerning, last time we talked that the concerning others is depend on how you value to others. If you make more value for others, then you will become a better concerning others. So when you value the other ones, then so your all the actions goes, I think, the more toward the right path. Right path means like not cause any conflicted and problem and suffering. So uh, uh, okay. Um, yeah, sorry, I couldn't find any good example for that. So anyhow, this second part is saying more the other before yourself. Let's say the altruism when you go to work, right? Um, you just go to office, you're sitting down same chair, doing same things. You're filling up the or filling up the blanks are right. So that not really talks about you really take responsibility. But we cannot say you do not work, you are not working. But you're doing something, but you're not really taking responsibility, right? So you're not enjoying work on that, right? So and then secondly, work on you are not thinking how can they make this better? That's we need it, right? So the concerning other means when you the same office you're going every day, and then every time you think how can make better as like your job. It's think like your the house or your own benefit. So think that office is my office, right? So then you always think how can I make it better. So if you think that I'm working for someone else, then you only the fill up the blank. That's you do. So that you have to do it within 8 hours or 7 hours. You're doing, but you're not taking responsibility, right? So that kind of thing, talking here that the put other before yourself, own self. That means when you do like a which is having great benefit to others, right? That's really depend on how you take responsibility. So if you take responsibility as like a part, you are part of that, then you will do better, right? So you all might know how's your employee doing, right? So and then if you feel that, then when we work for other, then we learn from that our employee. Okay, that's not good for me, but when I work for other, I shouldn't do that. So that's kind of things. But anyhow, that's the altruism. It's not talking about that the very compassionate. If you have that, then that will be the great for every time or everyone. But at least you are how you take responsibility to like take as like you are part. This is part of yours life. Then it's becoming more altruisms, right? That is the one reason, the second reason why we educating for art, or that's the second reason we should educate to other that way, right? Okay. And the third reason is saying sustainability. It says ensuring that future generations inherit a peaceful and sustainable world with an environment and resources preserved from harms. That's the one. And then the part that here, the second part, passing on the rich and meaningful cultural heritage of their what called ancestors. Ancestors, right? Okay. So that's the it's saying that whatever we do right now, we should think that our next generations, right? So doesn't matter what the next generation for you are relative or not. But it's better if you think that you're relative, then it's help all others. So anyhow, so think next generations, therefore, let's say not waste too much water. You can say that's example, right? Do not waste too much water for next, because we need to save for next generation, as well as electronic and so on, right? So, but if you're not concerning, it's just you're enjoying with anything you have it, then you will not that much care about all this the water and those things, right? So yeah, when I was in India, is different way to take care of environment. I didn't see that they very much care about the garbage things and the burning plastic. They don't care. But when I come here, they don't care water and electricity. But it's the same, right? But here, West is more researching about the environment to take care, and then we're learning from here, right? And then here we see that like who has learned from college to how to take care environment, but most of people who I meet, they waste a lot of water actually, and then electricity is same as well. So I don't have that education for that, but I don't know its effect or our environment or not. It's connected with the global warming or not. I do not know, but I hear that it is. If so, then we are not thinking next generations, right? What do you think? Yeah, you tell me. I do not know that much about this here, but that's how I see it. Um, yeah, so therefore, it says like it says resources and environment, the preserve, like for next generations. That definitely. So we educate it that way, or anything you learning, you should learn that kind of things also too, right? And then plus you're saying the passage, what's called passing on the rich and meaningful cultures. So they have their own culture, and then is there meaningful culture you carry on continuously. Um, so let's say we have a common responsibility and individual responsibility, right? Like say the biggest way the whole environment is common responsibility, and then say culture and the languages are individual responsibility, right? Tibetan languages are only the responsible for Tibetan people to preserve it or continue to carry that. So there are these two kind of talking about the responsibility for generally for next generations, and then your own culture and languages, which is meaningful, are right. So, but it's a culture, but it's not really meaningful, then it's clearly saying it's not really need to be preserved or continuous carry on it, right? Um, so those two kind of things he said, either we educate it that way or whatever you learn, you should learn this kind of reason. And then the fourth reason it's saying here, innovation, also innovations, right? Okay, sorry. Innovations for the common good. Yeah, the cultivating citizens who can create their own philosophical perspective, the viewpoint, and then system or object and activities that serve their needs for their time and place. The generation to generation, they whatever their time they need, whatever needed for that we to create more that while remaining connected to the overall welfare of the world. This is the full reason to why we're educating to others, right? So, what do you think about that?
I think is that specifically in like a text? Like
It's one.
the innovations for common good philosophy or philosophy systems and objects?
You asking the text for
Yeah.
learning?
Or yeah, is that from the Book of Kadampa?
Oh no, this is not for Book of Kadamba.
Oh, okay.
So I beginning that why we educating the question, right? And then I take it like some from our exile in government. They make the books for student, and at the top of the book they have a four reason. This four reason at there. So therefore, I thought like that for reason is very meaningful and useful. We should learn that kind of things too, right? So yeah, um, the philosophical perspective, it's a little bit tricky here. So why important to have philosophical perspective? And the short form, we can say you should have a right view. That's the meaning of philosophical perspective, right? So that once you have a right view, all the actions are driven by that right view. In our daily life, most of our actions actually driven by thought. What that thought is should be the right view or view, any view. So our like a this is how we seeing that the view and conduct or view and behavior, how they have a relationship connected. So the view is the principal cause to every your single actions. In the middle, there are not a lot of different emotion there, negative emotion or a positive emotion, a lot of emotion there. But the view lead it a lot of like a through by the emotion and motivations. There are a lot of the actions. The every I can say the I don't know. I can say 100%, but the most of our the action in daily life driven by view. Therefore, say important to have a right view, right? So if you have a right view, all the actions goes to right. So if you do not have a right view, then same as driven by a right view, that view, if it goes wrong, then all the actions goes wrong. So therefore, in regarding Buddhism, the profound view is the emptiness that we talked. Why is important? Because in generally, every single actions and thoughts are driven by view, then why not you are more learning have that kind of view, which is a lot of better to change in your life. Let's say, therefore saying the wise, profound view that emptiness is, right? So many people think the emptiness is just academic to learning reality or like some kind of just think academic. It's never think how it's connected in our daily life. Most people do not think that. So, but if you look at the view between relationship between view and behaviors or the contact, then you can see, okay, I have to make this view better. Then can come to the emptiness, right? So, therefore, here's the a philosophical perspective, right? Um, So you want me to talk like a more relationship between view and conduct, right? So let's say, but yeah, this is not the first time I'm mentioning. If you hear it before, just be a patient. So here I'm giving example like your neighbors or in our daily life. Say you have something that found that nice person, and you have someone there like a bad persons, right? So then the good and bad, the two different person in your life. You think again, how comes that you describe that person is bad and that person is good, right? So I can say it's connected to your view. So, but what do you think? It's connected to view or not? In generally, view means your perspective. Your perspective, your thoughts, that's the view, right? So now your perspective make that person is bad and other person is good. Your perspective, right? Otherwise, we see that the person on side, they are nothing good and bad, right? So we cannot describe that person's 100% bad or 100% good. It's dependent, right? For you, you see that because of your perspective. That's view. So if so, then let's see how that view to driving me to the experience either suffering or happiness. How it's connected to this, right? So through by your behaviors. until you hold that perspective or view that whatever person that you see as bad, most of the time it's annoying to you, or your behaviors will be like some kind of rough, right? And then experience will be suffering because you're seeing someone that you don't want to see it. You're meeting someone that you don't want to meet it. And then each time you're meeting and seeing, it's caused you some kind of uncomfortable, the mind and body, right? So as well, then it brings us the unhappy, not happy, right? So that is the experience because of your perspective. On the other hand, you want to see the good persons, where you have a perspective seen as a good person, then a lot of excuse and forgiveness there, right? Because your perspective. The other side, never forgiveness, right? And then no excuse. Even like a very small actions, you make it big because your perspective seeing as bad. That's how your perspective change your behaviors. That's getting the experience, right? So in the Lindsay, I can say perspective change thought or motivations, right? And that thoughts change your behaviors, then your experience change it. So therefore, your experience depend on your behaviors, right? And your behaviors depend on your thoughts. Thoughts behave on depend on your view, the perspective. That's just the essence point that perspectives change everything, right? Therefore, your view change everything. Therefore, view is important. Neither view changing is most important to change your every other things because it's just the main key. Therefore, it's saying the philosophical perspective is important. Okay, what do you think? Yeah.
Well, I mean, some people are just like, cruel.
Uh-huh.
So, you would consider them bad because they're cruel, because of their cruelty to others.
That could be your perspective.
It could be,
Yeah.
so maybe not.
Yeah. And then if not, then why is every time is like a cruel? One time you see it, one time you see it like something bad action, right? Since then, whenever you see that person is bad, it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be, right?
Yes, absolutely.
That created our perspective.
Mhm.
It is our perspective now. The people behave change, people actions change, and they change, but our perspective is not change. Therefore, bringing same experience in our daily life because the view is not changing. So if you need to change everything, definitely go there, right? So that's the technique how what I use for teaching compassion to others in WestCon. The changing perspective. I'm not saying all beings your mother. I cannot say that, right? And then I can say all beings kindness because of a good reason there, but I cannot say all beings your mothers. I cannot say future life, previous life, but perspective. Its essence point is perspective, whether like a talk the Dharma or like the secular way. The perspective is the main tools that change everything. So therefore, I'm using that technique to changing their perspective. So now you see that changing your perspective is change everything, right? So now, then if you really want to see that person, if you want to be happy with the person, now change your discriminations, right? That discrimination will help you to change your perspective or view, right? So, and then we'll be okay. So, yeah. um, Yeah, there's a lot of discussion on it. Whatever you bring the issues, we can do a lot of discussion on it. Anyhow, so therefore now we adding here, okay, if it is everything driven by the philosophical perspective or view, then what should how I change my view? I should change like an individual separately each time, or there's something that generally I change my view and then it covers a lot. That's thing, right? So, but as Shantideva says, individually challenging with each single one, it takes a long time. It's also very challengeable and difficult, right? So why not you change your general view and which help a lot in our daily life instead of working individually. So if I go back to the Buddhist point, um, there are like a two right view. Many right view actually. The way I can classification the two type of right view, the worldly right view, and then the philosophical right view. Right. So the worldly right view regarding to Buddhists is accepting karmic cause and effect. You know, so when you accept the karmic cause and effect, uh, whether you are in front of people or behind people, you will always be honest. You are scared to your actions. You are not scared for other persons. If you accept the karmic how the functioning karmic cause and effect, right? And then so you are more fear to having your own suffering through by your own actions. That's the karma, right? Then you will really care your actions, right? So it doesn't matter the people sees or not sees. It's not makes any difference because you're not doing for people. You're doing for your own to because whether people see or not, your action always lead the suffering or like a negative actions or bad actions always is the suffering. That's how we accept when we accept the karma, right? If so, then I will really take care that my not created any negative actions because I have to experience that suffering. It's nothing to do with the people, right? So sorry. So when you change that, and then so as I say, you are becoming the honest person, and then what called dissentful or decent person. Yeah, to become a decent person when you accept the karma. That's one of the right view. We call it the worldly right view. That's view, right? So see, if I do bad things, I have to experience suffering. If I do good things, I can experience the happiness. That's the view. So, and then if every actions you're driven by that view, most of the times goes right things, and that's exactly brings the what we need to be established, kind of like happiness, right? Okay, what thought on it? That's one view can change a lot. Do you have any thoughts on it?
I have a lot of thoughts. I'm just trying to.
Oh, okay.
I think it really opens up a lot. So working on changing your perspective
Mm,
is that through self-awareness and day-to-day, just being aware of what your actions are when things come up,
yeah, simple.
to meditate on that. Why did that bother me? Why? Is that kind of what you do?
Definitely,
Yeah.
yeah. Just if you really need to change the perspective, yeah, as you says, meditate it or analyze it. You lot of analyze it, find a reason that's doing it wrong, and that's good. What I describe it that is right, wrong, and I shouldn't describe that way. I shouldn't judge that way. So that kind of analytical, it's a lot of help, right? That's one way to help. It's again kind of like you are challenging with individually, one by one, whoever you have that the wrong view or bad view that you try to overcome by it so that it's individually working. So that's one way to do it. It takes longer time, right? So therefore, the karma is the one options. Accepting and understanding karma is one actions. Even you're not accepting the karma, but at least the cause and effect. If we know the cause and effect, exactly cause and effect, then it's a lot of help, right? So many affect the result experience. We do not know exactly what caused it. A lot of confusion in our daily life because we are not thinking it. If we think, then possibility we will find exactly the cause. But when we not think, a lot of suffering happening, a lot of problems going on in my life, But what is really cause that we do not know, right? So, but we always pointing the wrong cause. Until you found the wrong cause, then you cannot solve this all problem because you are not touching anything that's right. Say you have some poisoning food there, and then you eating it, then you do not know this is the how you cause like a headache or the problem, right? But you are blaming whether you are blaming the other people or you are blaming something else, but you continue using that because you do not know. But then you will never overcome by that illness, right? So, but if you know exactly the cause, the poisoning food, then easily can overcome by that illness. Similarly, there are many the reason, like many experience now happening in our daily life. We really do not either we are not thinking or we do not know that exactly the cause. That's just the continuous having suffering again and again because of that, right? So therefore, it's the simple that we know the flower's seed is the cause. If I need a flower, that's simple, right? But if you go to the more inner, like experience, happy and suffering, Buddhists say nothing to do with the external, right? It's exactly opposite our thought. Because ours has the experience suffering and happiness in our daily life, we must think it's an external cause, right? The Buddhist says not external cause, because only the internal cause that you always within you. But learn that we have to investigate it. Actually, really, it is where the Buddhist said, or what I'm thinking is right, which is right, right? So if you think, then you will find the exactly cause and condition that whatever experience happening in our daily life. That's you can deal with easily. This is the house, right? So therefore, sometime in like many times we do not know the cause, therefore the problem. So therefore, we should know the exactly cause and effect, whether you accept karma or not. The cause and effect it's always functioning it, but only the difference is that sometimes I do not know that what is exactly cause and condition to what I expecting it. Right? So more inner. External easy. External things easy that we can see the cause and condition. But internal, when you go look at the internal, there's sometimes difficult to find the exactly cause and condition to either change our experience or develop experience, the happy or suffering, right? Until we not found the exactly cause and condition, then difficult. So for that, study is important, right? Study and examination is important. Okay. So then that's one view, right? Then and then impermanent as one view, and then the most profound is the emptiness is the one view, right? So the emptiness is again understanding through by the dependent originations, right? Emptiness means there are nothing solidly there. There are nothing substantially there. Any existence, there are nothing substantial there. There are nothing solid there. Every single part is dependent. That's the way to understand emptiness, right? So every parts are dependent. Then, what should my behaviors? Then what should my thoughts? Because my happiness is dependent, my suffering is dependent, because it's dependent on cause and condition, right? And then what cause and condition I should collect it in order to having happiness? What cause and condition I should abandon, which is or eliminated, which is the to cause to having suffering, right? So that's kind of the connection between emptiness, view of emptiness, and our daily behaviors, right? So thoughts, understanding in the middle is a dependent on reasons. These behaviors, this experience is dependent on the behaviors. The behaviors depend on thought. Then what should I have of this thought? As depend on view, right? So the emptiness tell you everything is dependent, right? So sometimes the apple tree, and then we merge the two trees together, different fruits comes. That's cause change it, right? Cause change it, different fruits comes, different taste comes. So, but it just grow apple tree, it's apple comes, right? As usual. But when we combinations, the combinations comes. So therefore, they are not really solidly say, okay, this is the only cause that you can have a fruit. Sometimes we can combine it, different fruit comes, right? So then that is the not only cause to have like a kind of apple. Apple can be combined with a peach, right? So it's how do we make it together, like a trees put together, right? So they're dependent. They are not certainly they are the cause and condition should be always that. As far as meeting together, cause and condition, the results comes. The two trees may merge it, that's cause and condition, result different comes. So therefore there is no certainty or nothing that's substantially or establishing there always. Always here and change in the here and there because of dependent, right? So therefore the emptiness help you understand dependent, that certain level of dependent, then it's will help us to how to change thought, how to change behaviors. This is how it comes experiences, right? So there are a few different view which can be cures like a what called to solve the lot of problem in our daily life. Then that view, having that view is not comes automatically. So it's depend on our practice and think. The first step is study. Second step is accepting it, and third is comes apply on practice, right? So without accepting or learning, then it's not help. So therefore, again, one more time, repeat it. So study clearly, understand clearly. It might take times, right? And then whatever you study it or learning, accept it through by the examinations, then that's how we change our view with emptiness, with impermanence, with the karmic cause and effect. And then it's solved a lot of problem in our daily life. So that is the philosophical perspective means that. Okay.
Do you think that we introduced philosophy too late for people? I mean, I know that here in the United States, we introduced language a little late, and so as a result, Americans are very bad at different languages. So should we be introducing philosophy at a younger age? Kids are sponges, and we're waiting until college most times to have philosophy courses.
Of course, it's important. Yeah, it's important. Never late, never late. But it might be late with some individual life. That's fine. But in regarding the world, never late, because it's keep coming new generation, right? Never late. So and then philosophy regarding what that's also need to be find it out. As scientists, is like a very what called everyone accepted have a strong faith with the scientists, right? So we can make the strong faith with the philosophical. The problem is they cannot see directly. That's the problem. So, but we can make them have an experience through by the logic and reasoning, right? So, and then finally experience having same, but getting there is different, two different way, philosophy and science, right? The philosophy sees directly, and then, oh, sorry, the science see directly, and philosophy is not. Therefore, it takes time, but the result experience is same. But sometimes the philosophy is better. So that's definitely we all wish, but what we can do, we cannot change the school curriculum. For me, I cannot change any of the college curriculum. I don't have any authorization and power for that. But I can change few people's life, and then they carry it. They carry it. So you can change your family, right? You can change your children's to talk about this kind of things. Then this is how we can do it. And once we become more powerful, that much we use it. Less powerful, that much we use it. But still something that we can do it, right? Okay, this is the main four reason to how we should educate it to should we have this reason to educate it to others, or even we ourselves to study it with the four reasons. That will be the better. It's not talking about nirvana, right? It's not talking about Buddhahood. It's talking about the practical life, which is uh, good for us in our next generations, world, and everyone's. So that is how we should educate and learn this too. Okay. Yeah, then the system, the creating system, creating object, creating any activities that I don't have to explain. That philosophical perspective, that's just how what I explain it. This is it's good to know that every single thing is driven by our view. And then the view, let's say, how many view we have in our daily life? Numerous. Each days, different thoughts comes. We can just make it up. Okay, let's say this flower is green, right? That's just view. And as we say, this person is bad, right? And then that food is good, it's view. So, and that, we might have the view in what is built in our daily life. And then some view that is influenced by others, either religious or friends or environment or society. So we have a view that I think say many view which is influenced by others. And then we accept it as our own view. We forget it's influenced by other and we never investigate on that. Right? So and then yeah, then on the other view that you found it by your own way, nothing influenced by others, not innately there. You having that view after you study and think, so by your own, right? And then the view also refers with the text, like emptiness, impermanence, those kind of things refers with the text, right? So, and then as we have, if we know that many different views, we have it in our daily life, but which view we should keep it, which view we should change it, then we will know. There are many view which is influenced by other. We might need a lot of change on that. But even we said talks about that today, I talk about the view of the law and cause karmic, view of the impermanent, view of emptiness. So for me, that's influenced by the text and Buddhism, right? In for me, but when I investigate, when I think, I see this like a right view, and then try to follow on it. But that's how we need to do, right? So anything that your view is influenced by other, you rethink it, and then sometimes we need to change it. Sometimes we need to keep it. So that we say determined, right? That's how we need to go. And then once what we need to keep it continues being hold it, and then what do we need to change it? We try to change it. Not that I'm going to change tomorrow and day after tomorrow or next life. That's not helping. So at the moment we should begin to change it, and then we really do not know how to change it. Then we can learn more again how to change it, right? So anyhow, that many different view that's in our having our daily life. There, the most of view that we are having in daily life, like today we might have like a 10 different views. Uh, like I can say nine of them are wrong, right? So I can use the view instead of view say perspective, same. The perspective, we might have a 10 perspective today. So again, the nine of them might be wrong. So then when you see the wrong and then you easily can change it just because you just build it up. But it's becoming your like a stuck in your mind, then it's difficult to change it. So that's how we need to go, right? So okay, any discussion, further question?
I was wondering, how do we investigate causes from past lives?
Causes from past life?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's difficult actually. Even we don't have a scientifically proved that past life and future life, right? It's philosophy, it goes with the philosophy. But when you think reason makes sense, that's how we can accept it. Otherwise, there's nothing to prove it by this. We can see it. Yeah. Even text clearly said that we cannot show you the past life and future life example directly that you can see it. Yeah. Um, but historically, we do have some example, but it's just history. Many people might not believe that or not accept that, right? Let's say example, Chandragami, one of the Indian the scholar, same time in Chandrakirti, same time there. So Chandragami, the debating with what call the some non-Buddhist scholar, and then the points comes in the future life in the previous life, and then Chandragami say, "Okay, I can prove you that my future life. I'm just telling you, okay." And then what Chandragami does it like he put some like a what called not the blue one we call the stone jewels. He
Sapphire?
put huh
Sapphire?
Lapis lazuli.
some kind of jewel. Yeah. So anyhow, he put it in a tank and then he passed away. And then next life, when the children's born, it has some kind of marks on that. But no one realized he's the reincarnation of Chandragami. But how he knows that one time that non-Buddhist the scholar come to challenging that he wrote some the quotes, the poetry, and then whoever can explain this line, it comes to me debate. So, and then at the time, Chandragami father is minister and is kind of like a scholar. And the king called him, then give him responsibility. Even he do not know this line. And then one time, all this briefly explanation written down in the wall. And then when Padre comes home and he see that, who wrote that, right? And then mother said, our children wrote that. So then he gets surprised, and then he continues just talking and talking, and then finally he bring his son to debate for challenging because he's explained that, right? And then when the other scholars comes, then he really don't want to challenge with the kids, and then he just beginning criticized, and each time criticizes exactly answer for that. So then he gets surprised, then he sit down and challenge. That's how the proof. And then finally, he said he proved it. It says that he proved that previous lives because of one of his knowledge, and then the marked in tongue. Because young children cannot be proved that way. Yeah. So anyhow, so this is the how we need to find it out, previous life and future life. Right. The more philosophy way, reason and logic. Yeah. You know that basically we are more investigating of the substantial cause of our consciousness. That's the exactly brings us something else, not father and mother, nothing to do with any of this earth and this time. If you accept that consciousness is not the form, that makes you different. If you accept consciousness as form, then it's connected with the parents. DNA or whatever you call, right? So it's connected to us. That we have to think a consciousness is form or not. The Buddhists clearly said it's not form, but scientists are saying it's form, but we have to find it out through by our experience and examinations. When you see that, then you can easily understand previous life because every existence must have, not I can say every, most of existence must have their cause and condition, but special substantial cause that we're looking at. Not just cause and condition, substantial cause. What is the consciousness of the substantial cause? Some kids are very skillful, What is the substantial cause of that skillful? And then intelligence, right? That's the main part that we can examining to finding the previous life. It's only either we have to say God created, or we have to say, okay, something connected with the some else, but this not world, not the parents. What is it? So then consciousness with from previous life, that sometimes goes that way. Yeah. So DNA one exam answer, the God is one answer, and then karma is another answer. And then we have to think it. What is really the answer perfectly? Answer it for that. When people say I do not know, then that's the done. So right, we not further investigate because I do not know. But until they say something, it's always need to be accessible think. That makes us to understand something else, right? Yeah. The Pramanavartika, which is composed by Dharmakirti, in English translation of epistemology,
Yeah.
right? It's epistemology. It has a 4 chapter. The second chapter talks a lot about the logic to proving previous life and future life based on Four Noble Truth. And yeah, so that's beautiful. If you more study, is it translated in English? Okay.
It's under
Which
the
one?
one that I know is Doctor. I don't know. It's called "Is Enlightenment Possible?" Is like the title.
Yeah.
I see. I see.
see that.
Okay. So the second chapter talks a lot of logic and reasoning to proving previous life and future life. But again, clearly see there are no direct example there. No direct example. Yeah. Okay. So anyone question who's online?
Geshe,
Uh-huh.
you said, and I didn't hear you, but
Mhm.
before your discussion about consciousness being form or not form, you said something about consciousness in with happiness, and I didn't hear what you said. Do you recall?
Not just mention the consciousness happiness at the recently. So yeah, it just understanding previous life and future life is depend on consciousness, but it's also depend on understand clear that consciousness or form or not. That's what I'm said. I said it.
And I'm sorry, but how does that relate to happiness?
Yeah, I did not mention it happiness, but I can
Okay.
relate
So
it.
okay. So I misunderstood. Thank you, Geshe. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah. Experiences that they're talking about. Mm. Okay. Yes, please.
No, in my experience, I think the schools with my son and daughter, they've gotten much better at teaching morality,
Mm-hmm.
and rewarding kindness,
Okay.
like formally rewarding kindness, than when I was growing up. It's not even
That's
close.
wonderful.
Not
Yeah.
even close.
Okay,
They're
wonderful.
anti-bully. You know, they are much more good at policing kids being cruel to each other. They're much better than when I was growing up. I mean, they're not formal about it as they could be. They could be more formal and have some kind of curriculum related to it,
Mm.
but they're worlds better. So that's been my feeling with my kids going through.
Yeah, that's our hope, right? Our
Mhm.
hope is beginning from individual life.
Mhm.
Otherwise, if we look at the big view, looks like a world get worse, more worse, right?
Mhm.
Copying from each other. So the policy to like a kicking out from country, that's copying to other countries, not only United States. So many countries are doing that now.
Yeah.
You know, they inspire. So anyhow, so if we look at that way, some kind of discouragements, oh, we don't have any hope. I have to look some other place to go, right? But if as says individual life, there are a lot of hope there, right? So when you look at the individual, so then it gives us hope and strength. okay, then this is the way of life. This is the how the place where I have to survive. So based on that, I have to find out on my own the aims, right? That's how we need to go. Yeah, yeah. Therefore, some once people call that like just conversation say, you said universal peace. Your center name is universal peace. Do you believe that? Yes, I not believe that. It's kind of impossible to become a universal peace in one day. It's impossible in 1 month, within years, right? So, but my hope is individual life. Therefore, it brings universal peace. Therefore, we say universal peace, right? Otherwise, like if we look at the just short movement, it's impossible. It's very impossible. Yeah. Okay. So, any other
May I ask a question,
suggestion?
Geshe?
Uh-huh.
Hello, Geshe.
Yeah, I hear
Hello,
you.
good to see
Yes.
you. Thank you for your teaching.
Thank you.
May I ask a question about dependent origination, dependent arising?
Uh-huh. Yes.
10 of the 12 steps seem very clear to me to see in everyday life. Contact, feeling, craving, grasping, aging, sickness, and death. Those are all very plain to see. But karmic formations leading to consciousness and grasping leading to becoming are the two that I feel are not possible for us unenlightened regular people to witness. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
wondering if you have any insight as to is that where faith comes in as a practitioner, or are there things we can look to help understand those two very difficult parts of the chain?
Mm. Okay. Uh, let me say first, then I can ask you a question again to make clear. So yes, definitely that dwelling dependent origination is very much help to understand the life and the place where we surviving. So and then based on that, help us how to deal with it. So you have a more like a problem with the formatting, how to create consciousness. That's you have problem.
I just know that all of the other steps are very obvious in everyday life, but
Uh-huh.
we don't witness the links between karmic formation and consciousness, and
Uh-huh.
between and becoming. Those are things that are have to do with rebirth that are very difficult for us to understand or remember or experience. And I'm wondering
Uh,
if we have to take those on faith until we progress, or are there examples to look to?
okay.
Does that make
Uh,
sense? Chappelle, maybe you can help if you know what I'm asking.
And just looking for examples of it in everyday life.
in real life, what?
Those points of dependent origination.
So I think you're asking how is the karmic formation lead to consciousness,
Consciousness.
and
Okay.
then why clinging and grasping leads to becoming, which is the 10th factor.
Yes,
Oh, okay. Okay.
exactly, exactly, exactly.
Okay.
They are hard to see. They are hard to see in everyday life, and I'm wondering if you have any insight into how to
Okay.
experience or realize them in meditation or in scripture, or however.
Let's say the karma is not directly, or karma is not the substantial cause of consciousness. That's clear, right? It's not the substantial cause of consciousness. But if not, then why consciousness should be caused by karma? But it's saying that consciousness is continuum from beginningless, that regarding Buddhism, and that but the karma changed the place of the consciousness. The consciousness put in a different continuous now, right? It's like say human form or animal form or some other form. When consciousness connected with a different form, then consciousness itself is going to change a little bit. So, like if you put in a human form, it's become more intelligence. It's become put in the animal form, less intelligence. That's kind of changing. But the natural consciousness not changing. It's continues going that. But karmic change the consciousness to ability of some potential. So therefore, because of the form, that's how say the karmic lead us to have a consciousness. So, and on the other hand, say, okay, we have a karma to reborn in human life, and then consciousness comes from previous life, whatever the life, and maybe it could be animal life. Let's say animal life, right? Then, as we have a karma to reborn in human life, the human life is the result of karma, right, regarding Buddhist. And then at the time, as the consciousness come continues and then take the human life, so it comes later that karma. First, we have to we have to have karma. Then, once karma giving us the result of the human life, at that moment, the consciousness connected in the human life, right? So therefore, consciousness is the result of the karma, but it's just being conditioned, not the substantial cause. Really, substantial cause is the karma is substantial cause of the life, right? The human life. And consciousness has to be there. Therefore, it's kind of like a conditioning it, not the substantial cause. Is this clear? Okay. So,
Yes,
and
that makes perfect sense. Thank you. And for
okay.
becoming,
Yeah, and then the craving and clinging, right? The craving and
yeah, to
clinging, how
become, yeah,
to becoming, right?
yes.
Um,
Thank you.
becoming the last part, like we are you might talking about that almost we taking birth, right? So that's the becoming. Okay, so yeah, the craving is let's say example. Uh, Again, the craving not directly uh, being substantial cause for becoming. The craving that lead us some actions, whether good or bad, right? So that actions turning into the imprint as kind of a habit. That habit brings us the becoming or that karmic, and I said, like we're creating new karma. We born human life from previous life karma. Now we are creating new karma within this life, so many good and bad. And then once we close to getting the ending of this life and becoming the next life, then one of the karma should be happening. It's depend on condition. And then sometime, let's say, if you have more desire to have a human life, then that becoming condition to happening that what you have a karma for taking human life. Or if you have more desire for animal, and then that could be the condition the ripening your the karma which can return in animal life. So the craving is becoming conditioning to becoming, and then actually your karma is driving. Craving is kind of water, and then you have a substantial seed that karma it's ripening based on the what you're craving on it. So that's how becoming come like we becoming the life.
Thank you. Thank you. That's as clear as I've ever gotten an answer on that. I really appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Who's this, Eric?
Eric.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
The context of the substantial cause of it not being the substantial cause is the key. And I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Okay. Okay.
Do you have a craving that is different than your karmic seeds and therefore not lead to, like, if you really have a desire for human birth, but you were like a really terrible person,
Mhm.
would that circumvent, your terrible actions would circumvent the craving?
Yeah, craving is two part here. The when we look at the twirling dependent origination, that craving and clinging is the cause, right? The cause means it lead us to create a new karma. That's the how to bring alive. But another craving at the moment when you're ending of life, and some desire or craving might be there to craving to like a human or animal being, that being conditioned. That part of craving and which is indwelling dependent question craving is a little bit different. So it's lead us one is to let us create a new karma, and another is being conditioned to repeating other karma. Yeah. Yes, yeah. Okay. So, okay, remember that's 4 reasons for why we're educating or how we should educate it. And then there are more elaborate for philosophical perspective. This is very important that we will change everything in our daily life. So definitely need to change the perspective in daily life if you need to change your thought and experiences. Yeah. Okay. So any other question? Okay, thank you so much then. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
So from next Sunday, we have a guest lecture. They are the both are none. The unintentional will take few class first, and then one of the Geshe Ma who came from India. So she will take few classes. I have to travel. Okay, and there's still the one more chapter left, like a last chapter, which is great summary of the Khatam book of Khatam. So we will talk after I come. Okay. So thank you so much. Enjoy with Anila and Keshima, their teaching.
Very safe travels, Geshe-la.
Thank you.
Thank you, Geshe.
Yeah.